The United States has a unique constitutional system. What the American system tries to do in many different ways is to create a framework by which diverse people can talk to each other across partisan lines for the benefit of the public. It shows an intuitive understanding that group polarization is a risk and it's bad.
The U.S. political establishment has become more polarized than at any time in the last 100 years. In 1974, in the House, there was still some overlap. Since then, Democrats have moved steadily to the left, Republicans to the right.
Democrats, Republicans used to get together at the end of the day and have a bourbon, talk things out. Doesn't happen now.
It doesn't happen. Culturally, right now, we have a system in which we don't have a broad conversation among people who don't agree with each other. And one of the biggest challenges I think we face as a nation is how do we create those spaces? Supposedly, the Senate, the body in which I serve, is supposed to be the greatest deliberative body in the world.
Not happening?
It's not happening.
We are here, 14 Republicans and Democrats, 7 on each side, to announce that we have reached an agreement to try to avert a crisis in the United States Senate and pull the institution.
The best evidence, I think, of how polarized America's become is it makes news when Republicans and Democrats do something of substance together, and that truly is a shame.
That's what the Senate used to be about.
We've gone from the Senate being presumed to be above party politics to where the news is we rejected party politics.
And if we're smart as senators, we'll take advantage of this opportunity to start over and re-engage each other in a more constructive way.
You reach across party lines, work with a Democrat. What do you hear from your base?
What did I hear from my base? I got 6,000 letters when I joined the Gang of 14. I got over 7,000 phone calls.
All mad.
All mad. There is a cottage industry in Washington, D.C., where people focus on one view of the political pie, one way of doing business, and anybody that crosses their line is going to get beat up pretty badly. They've got a lot of money, they've got mailing lists, and it constantly challenges people like me to say no to them.
In fact, today, very few members of the House or Senate risk voting against their own party. In 1976, Democrats and Republicans voted with their respective parties just 64% of the time. In 2005, they voted with their parties 89% of the time.
You've got a base who every time you even move rhetorically towards the center, say it's a betrayal.
Absolutely. And I think that one of my challenges is to make sure that I am willing to challenge conventional wisdom in my own base. And one of the things that has to happen for our politics to improve is a certain a willingness to buck party dogmas. And that's very hard to do.
And it's not happening. Congress has become a perfect reflection of the big sort. As towns become more homogeneous, so do their votes. And their elected officials are coming to Washington representing ever more narrow constituencies. In the last election, about 95% of all House races were not competitive.
In a democracy, it's we the people, and it shouldn't be that there's a us versus them attitude internally.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
We can certainly have that against our enemies, but not internally.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a message on the board?
I'll admit to being just a bit conflicted here. Passionate political debates, well fought, are bracing and clarifying, what citizens are supposed to do. And the right to engage in those debates is exactly what our founders fought for. But have we become so divided that we aren't really debating anymore? Just hunkering down, hoping our own side can overpower rather than persuade our opponents. The evidence we presented tonight suggests that's exactly what's happening. Whether it continues is up to you. And we hope you'll follow and participate in the midterm elections coming up this fall with what you heard tonight in mind. Thanks for watching. Good night.